1310 WICH with Fishing Today. Whether it's in the ocean, on the pond, in the stream, or off the dock, it's all about fishing. Let's join Jesse Roach with Fishing Today on 1310 WICH.
Good morning, everyone. Another edition of Fishing Today on WICH, and welcome. I hope you're having a great 4th of July weekend, and it looks like there might be a little bit of damper in the sound. It looks like there's a small craft advisory that's going to be happening a little later on today. But anyways, with me, Rick Joseph on the other side of the glass. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Jesse?
Great.
Good
Glad
to see you this
glad to
morning.
be here.
Yeah.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about some tournaments. We've got some news and obviously your marine forecast. And with me, Bob Sampson from the Norwich Bulletin is here today. Good morning, Bob.
How's it going, Jess?
All right. And so we're going to get into it with Bob and talk about what he's been up to and where you can read his columns. So first we'll start off with news and the weather.
Okay, let's see what's going on. You got the effective tomorrow morning, Sunday the 3rd, the scup commercial fishery possession limit will be reduced from 1,500 pounds to 750 pounds. Possession limits will be periodically adjusted if needed to achieve 100% of the annual summer period quota, be landed by the end of the quota period. The objective is to maintain a constant rate of landing for the remainder of the quota period without exceeding the quota. All commercial fishery possession limits apply to the aggregate of all persons on board the vessel per trip or per day, whichever is the longer period of time. Transfer of the species between vessels at sea is prohibited, and when any person on a vessel is commercial fishing, the commercial possession limit applies to the entire vessel. No person on that vessel may also possess fish under a recreational limit. And for current commercial fishery trip limits and quota status, you can call this number, 860-434-6374, 24/7, for a recorded message of current possession limits. Well, you can see the website, ct.gov/DEP. That number again, 860-434-6374. The department monitors landings and adjustment trip limits according to department regulations in an attempt to provide fishing opportunity throughout the year for all participants in the commercial fishery. In addition, the department strives to provide advance notification of trip limit changes, although it may not always be possible to do due to rapidly escalating and unanticipated landings. In such circumstances, only a short notification period may be possible. And right to the weather, small craft advisory in effect from noon today through this evening. Winds expected to pick up today, northwest winds 5 to 10 knots with gusts up to 20 knots today, becoming westerly 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 25 knots this afternoon. Seas 1 foot or less building to 1 to 2 feet by this afternoon. Tonight, west wind 10 to 15 knots, diminishing to around 5 knots after midnight, and gusts early this evening up to 25 knots, and gusts to 20 knots for the remainder of the evening. Seas around 2 feet in the evening, then 1 foot or less tonight. West wind for tomorrow around 5 knots, becoming southwesterly 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 25 knots in the afternoon tomorrow. Seas 1 foot or less, then 1 to 2 feet in the afternoon for Sunday. Then Sunday night, southwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts up to 20 knots, becoming westerly around 5 knots after midnight. Sunday night, seas 1 to 2 feet in the evening, then 1 foot or less after that. Barometric pressure at 29.74. And tides in New London low at 2:26 this afternoon, high at 8:27 p.m. today. In Saybrook, high at 9:10 a.m. shortly, and then low at 3:11 p.m. Water temperature out in Long Island Sound, 67 degrees.
All right. So looks like get your fishing in this morning. If you're going fluking, the wind might take your drift away from you. And then, so looks like back to good fishing tomorrow, though, after the wind dies down.
Yeah.
And speaking of fishing, lots of tournaments happening in our area. I know today Aspinock Pond and Patchogue Pond, between Patchogue Area Bassmasters and Bass Buddies, is taking place. The 6th, a few things going on the 6th of July. You have Aspinock Pond for Bassin' for Fun at Butts Bridge. Also Aspinock Pond, the Wednesday night trail, and or trial, that is. On the 6th, also Lake Lilanona at the Connecticut Bassmen. On the 7th, Gardner Lake in Salem. They have Thursday night Bassin' and also some other things going on. The Striper Cup, which is currently happening, and that's an all-season-long thing. You can get involved, and it's just basically catch and release. You measure it, let it go, take the picture, and there you go. It's stripercup.com. That's the place for that. And also, catch of the week this week, we got to give it to Derek Williams and of Middletown. He was selected as the Week 8 catch and release winner in a new pair of Casa del Rey Mar sunglasses, so you can win stuff week to week with this Striper Cup thing. That's just pretty cool. And he's taken first place in the Angler of the Year Kayak Division. So there you go. He mixed it up this week with one striper that he caught from a boat, 2 fish that he caught from his kayak, and without a third kayak, landed a bass. And Derek still managed enough inches to secure his first place Angler of the Year position in the Kayak division. So congratulations to Derek. And coming up real quick, it's a very long tournament, and it's all Connecticut waters, which is pretty cool. And that is the Three Bells Outfitters TBO Trifecta. And you can go to tbotrifecta.com, and that is the 15th through the 24th. They've got the captain's dinner, the whole nine, and it's also all Connecticut waters. So there you go. And that's the trifecta being bluefish, fluke, and striped bass.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and so there you go. Get your fishing on, and lots of great prizes for these tournaments, too, sometimes. So lots of fun. And probably Calcuttas, I'd imagine, are also usually involved. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with Bob Sampson of the Norwich Bulletin right after this.
You've dreamt about this day for a long time. You've planned it all in your heart ever since you were little. And now you just need a place where the magic will happen and then last a lifetime. Welcome to the Overlook at Gear Tree Farm. Imagine saying your vows overlooking a beautiful meadow filled with sweeping views of the rustic Connecticut countryside. The Overlook at Gear Tree Farm features 100 acres of farmland that has a rich history and a sense of timeless beauty. The Overlook at Gear Tree Farm also has a stone patio with fire pit for your reception. Perfect for that first dance you'll share with your lifetime partner. There's even a private bridal suite for the bride and her party. Discover the magic and history that is the Overlook at Gear Tree Farm. For your wedding or corporate event, you can see how beautiful the future can be at the Overlook at Gear Tree Farm on Norman Road in Griswold. Online at theoverlookatgeartreefarm.com.
Another fabulous season of music kicks off on the Norwich waterfront this Wednesday with Rock the Docks at the Howard T. Brown Park. This week, come enjoy one of Eastern Connecticut's favorites, 8 to the Bar, starting at 6 p.m. Bring a chair and enjoy live music on Norwich Harbor. 8 to the Bar is sponsored by your friends at Putnam Bank.
I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today.
The 2016 Rock the Docks concert series is made possible in part through the generosity of Eastern Savings Bank, the American Group, Norwich Public Utilities, Andre J. Messier Jr., CPA, and Foggy Harbor Brands. Rock the Docks is organized by the Norwich Harbor Management Commission, the Greater Norwich Area Business and Industry Foundation, and the Greater Norwich Area Chamber of Commerce. Bring a chair and rock the evening away with live music this Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Norwich Harbor.
She's the most lips like cherry wine.
Featuring 8 to the Bar, sponsored by Putnam Bank. Every Wednesday now through August 10th, join in the fun at Rock the Docks on Norwich Harbor.
Balvie's, you're gonna love it. Shopping for a pre-owned vehicle, maybe a truck or an SUV, or how about a nice sedan or even a hot rod? Then you need to shop at Valdez of Norwich. You'll discover one of the area's largest selection of vehicles around, backed with the Valdez Peace of Mind Guarantee. Every vehicle at Valdez goes through a thorough inspection, ensuring your pre-owned vehicle is like brand new to you. So if you love the outdoors or have a need for a family vehicle, Valdez has what you're looking for. You can see it all online at Valdez.com. Be sure to click the 5-star review tab and see for yourself what your neighbors and friends have to say. Valdez, located on Route 32 in Norwich, serving southeastern Connecticut and beyond for over 84 years. Call 860-889-3371. Online, it's Valdez.com. Remember, if it doesn't say Valdez on the back, you probably paid too much. Valdez, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. You're gonna love it.
Valdez, you're gonna love it.
Foxwoods Resort Casino proudly presents the Mashantucket Pequot Fireworks Extravaganza. Join us Saturday, July 9th during the 39th Annual Sail Fest. Enjoy a world-class fireworks display by Garden State Fireworks on the New London waterfront, synchronized to music. So bring your radio tuned to 100.9 FM to really enjoy the show. Great entertainment, activities for the whole family, and a world-class fireworks show. Sail Fest kicks off Friday, July 8th at noon and runs through 6 p.m. on Sunday, July 10th. Foxwoods Resort Casino proudly presents the Mashantucket Pequot Fireworks Extravaganza.
Welcome back to Fishing Today on WICH. Also, the podcast available at WICH.com on the Fishing Today page. You can go back and hear all of our segments, and it's through Mixcloud for those who are savvy with that app. And with me, Bob Sampson of the Norwich Bulletin. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you on. And you can catch Bob in the Norwich Bulletin. And where can they catch you there?
It's Thursday's Bulletin, and it's bi-weekly. It's every other week. I think I had one in last week. There's not one for another week. I don't think there's one. There wasn't one this past week, the week before. So next Thursday I owe him a column. It used to be weekly for years and years, and they've been cutting back on freelancers and stuff. So
yeah. Well, I know the print is going through some changes now.
Oh, absolutely.
In general.
It's gone, yeah.
But so tell us about that. What can they expect to find in these columns?
Well, I cover, basically fishing, hunting, outdoors. Try to be whatever's topical. You can tell sometimes, if there's not much to be said, it's either because the fishing's bad or I haven't been out. There's times when I like to try to put some firsthand stuff in and have some people I trust that I can call, and they're not going to give me a bunch of, fish stories, so to speak. The guys at the Fish Connection are always good. But like I say, sometimes I miss them, sometimes whatever. So you can sort of tell if there's more sort of trim in the story than actual meat. It's because I messed up and there's not much going on.
Well, that also is the case when the fishing is really good.
Yeah.
If it's week to week, well, yeah, we're on piles of blues, piles of stripers, piles of fluke.
And it can change overnight. See, that's the one thing that I try to do with the column is I try to get the most recent information. And a long time ago, I used to have to, get the stuff in almost a week in advance. I was writing it a week, 5 days before. And, all right, so I'd write something on Monday, and that school of big bluefish that everybody was catching leaves on Tuesday. It happens. Like we were talking about it before. These fish come and go. And, if the bait moves on, the stripers and blues are gone, and you might not see them for a week. You might see them the next tide. That's the X factor that's really hard to know unless you're, the guys that are charter fishermen, the professionals, they're out every day. They know where the fish are. And if they happen to get out of their range, they have their next buddy up the coast that they can call and find out. And these guys all have people they talk to that they trust. And, there's a few of them that are, all right, I won't talk to you, but I'll talk to you. And that's how it is. It's kind of like, it's like that in a person's neighborhood, But the pros are pros. They're good. The ones I've been associated with and know over the years, these guys are all really, really good fishermen. So you get your money's worth out of a trip with a charter boat guy.
So the column, you also get into advice about gear and things like that, like what's been working, what hasn't. Yeah,
the deer stuff, I don't have as many outlets for that. There's a couple of just people I call. Some of the shops, as you probably know or maybe don't, a lot of the gun shops that used to be around here aren't here anymore. You know, they're kind of been going by the wayside. There's a few popping up, littler ones that I need to become associated with. You know, the guys that I don't really know, I see them when I'm driving around, that kind of a thing. But the gun thing, because of all the stuff in the papers and it's more of a kind of on the QT. You know, there's people have pretty good gun shops. They run out of their basements, all legit. You know. But they just don't advertise because they don't want to get broken into. You know, there's a lot of reasons that it's kind of like not like it used to be, where there was 4 or 5 really big shops in the area. They're mostly down, and if they're still around, they're kind of quiet about it.
Well, you're even saying the deer hunting was something that wasn't around in the past. Like,
no, we were talking about that when I first started hunting deer. Connecticut finally got enough deer to have a season, I think in 1974 or 72. I think it might have been 74. They had the very first statewide deer season. I started hunting, and I put more time in then than I have, just per season. Tons and tons of time in. And if I saw a deer, that was a big deal. Just saw them, right? I got skunked my first 4 years, and I put a lot of time in. Then the population started increasing to the point where I could literally, and not just me, anybody that had a good place to hunt and had a clue as to what you were doing, and could shoot. I could make a bet and say, all right, I'll bring a deer home in the next 3 days, and depending on the weather and the wind, and could do it, I got to admit, I've been skunked the last 2 years. Now, last year I put quite a bit of time in. I never saw a deer to shoot out in the woods. Wow. Never saw. I don't have a lot of places, but the one place, my primary place, is pretty good. I was just zigging when they were zagging, and there's a couple times it's club property, and if I went out and I saw a guy that I know was there with his grandson, rather than go in and mess them up, I just go home, So a little bit of it was that, but I'm slipping. I can tell you, I'm slipping. The deer had a break the last couple years.
The salmon up here, have you gotten into any of that? I hear like the patch hog going into the down into the Norwich area. There is some salmon running around here.
I don't know when that would be, unless they stock those big ones up above in the Shetucket, and those fish, historically dropped down, and they were big, like adult salmon. I didn't think they even did that program anymore. Is that something that you heard of recently?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
okay,
that's what I heard. So
I might have missed the news thing. I know the DEP report. I might have skipped that and missed it. But that used to be a fairly decent fishery up in the Shetucket. And you could go in the fall. They'd take the excess breeders after they were done getting the eggs from them for future breeding, and they'd let them go for people to catch, and they'd put them in the Shetucket. And I think they were throwing some in, like one year when the river was so low, they threw them in Beach Pond. They put them in a couple of ponds like that, and people got some thrills out of it.
Yeah,
it was kind of fun.
And that's single hook. You can't do the trebles.
Right, yeah. You got to use single hooks for them.
Well, we got to take a break, and we'll come back more with Bob Sampson of the Norwich Bulletin right after this.
The 7th Annual Gift to Mobility is set to take place in December, but needs your help today. Over the past 6 years, Phil, owner of AZ Pond in Norwich, has given away free of charge hundreds of rebuilt motorized scooters to those that otherwise would not be able to get around without them.
The show's going to be of value to me. I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. It's great.
To keep the Gift to Mobility going, they need your help. Already, people from over the years have been very generous with the donation of used motorized scooters. Phil and his team have worked on them and brought them back to usable, safe condition. But to give them away in December, the cost to bring these chairs back to life is huge.
And if it wasn't for Phil, he wouldn't be getting around. Thank you so much.
Many of these chairs require batteries, seats, and wheels. Batteries are the most expensive. Average cost each year to do the Gift to Mobility is over $10,000 in repairs. You can help by making a donation to AZ Pond, 442 East Main Street, Norwich, or log on to WICH.com.
This is a godsend. I don't know what to say to Phil. feel to thank you.
I'm someone who tends to hang out with all the little people. No, it's not because I'm humble. It's because all the leprechauns tend to meet at me poolside at all hours of the day, thanks to Irish Springs pool water. You see, Irish Springs pool water delivers clean, cool, municipal or well water for your pool. And they can even deliver on the weekends and evenings, so they can work around your schedule. Not only that, but they can also deliver on time and at competitive rates, which makes me a popular party pool host to those that are vertically challenged.
Are you talking about the wee people, darling?
I'm saying you people better keep your wee out of my pool. Well, at least I can always count on Irish Springs pool water to keep my party going, and you can too. Just call 848-4100. You can't trust a leprechaun, but you can trust Irish Springs pool water. Call 848-4100. Fill your pool with a look of Irish Springs pool water.
Look, McKinney's doing a cannonball. Oh, McKinney, he's getting skinny.
Hello, this is John Miller, Administrator at Northtown Rehab and Care Center located at 93 West Town Street. For over 40 years, we have been a family-owned center taking care of citizens in the greater Norwich area. As one of a few 5-star Medicare-rated rehab centers in the area, I would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to the hardworking and dedicated staff members who provide such outstanding care. We are a leader in post-acute hospital stay rehab, including comprehensive care for total knee and hip replacement, wound care, pain management, stroke reconditioning, and IV therapy. In addition, we have on staff one of the area's leading pulmonologists, Dr. Stephen Powell, who will manage your COPD, congestive heart failure, pneumonia, or other related respiratory diseases. Our rehab team works 7 days per week and provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Our goal is to make you stronger, provide education about your disease or illness, and get you successfully back home. With over 40 private rooms to choose from, why not make Norwich Rehab and Care Center your choice for local short-term rehabilitation? We are located just off exit 14 on I-395 in Norwichtown. Please call today for a tour at 860-889-2614 or online at norwichtownrehab.com.
The Home Depot has Hampton Bay's new 52-inch Rockport LED ceiling fan for just $79.97. It comes in 3 finishes. It saves on energy bills, and its long-life LED bulbs also save on lighting costs. One more thing, its quick-fit mounting system makes installation a breeze, saving another kind of energy. Yours. Get a new spin on installation with the Rockport ceiling fan, just $79.97. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details.
This is what it sounds like at a car dealership that doesn't offer big cash back. And this is what it sounds like at a Chevy dealership that does offer big cash back on award-winning vehicles.
Booyah! All right!
During the Chevy 20% sales event, get cash back for 20% of the MSRP on many 2016 Chevy models. For the best selection, get to your Chevy dealer now. For vehicle eligibility, visit Chevy20%.com. Not available with special finance, lease, or other offers. Take delivery by 7/8/16. See dealer for details.
All right, we're back fishing today, and with me, Bob Sampson with the Norwich Bulletin. Now, you had talked earlier off air. We had talked about the barometric pressure and how you had done some work with that with students and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I know we mentioned it on our forecast. We talked about barometric pressure, and explain why this does matter and what you found.
Sure. You know, just to kind of, as a science teacher, barometric pressure is the weight of the air above us, all right? And it goes for miles up into the sky. And they talk about low pressure and high pressure. Low pressure is warmer air, less dense, so it's lighter. That's why you have low pressure. And cool air, like today, is more dense and it weighs more. Now, this is a theory of mine. I've never been able to prove it, but I've always noticed a very strong correlation between high and rising pressure, about 85% of the time, 85% of the time. You're going to have worse than average, or say worse than expected fishing under high and rising pressure. And about 65% of the time, it's going to be better on the dropping or low pressure. So the high one has a more negative correlation than the low does positive, you know. But it's something I've studied literally for 10 years with my students, and I've been aware of it since I was a kid. I remember reading a Taps Tips, a column in Field and Stream when I was about 12 years old that said the fish bite better when the rain is coming. And I took that to heart. And to this day, if I have a choice between putting on rain gear or going out in shorts and a T-shirt, give me the rain gear every day.
And the way that affects the fish to make them eat more, that actually opens up their bellies, right? It's less pressure on their belly.
There's a couple of things. I think the water's very uncompressible. I talked with a guy at Woods Hole about this, and he read my thing I'd written about it, And he said, no, there's no way the air can compress the water enough for fish to know. I don't buy that. I absolutely don't buy that, because I've done a lot of fishing in my lifetime, and not so much in the salt water. I think because the moving tides and temperature, it's not as strong a correlation. But in fresh water, I know I'll take a bet with anybody any day. And I have a little handheld barometer I keep literally right by my computer and phone while I'm writing. And, if it's summertime and I don't have any obligations, and I get the inclination to go fishing, I look at the barometer. We call it the oracle, right? Because she tells us what to do. And the oracle will say, if it's dropping pressure, I'll pack up, grab a rod and reel, and just go to a little local pond to catch some bass. And then, like if my buddy Eric, if it's looking like it's going to be a major system, like nothing is better from this time of year until the fall than a spent hurricane. You get one of those great, big, huge storm systems coming up, a low-pressure system, and the winds and rain around a spent hurricane. That's when I've caught, we didn't talk a lot about the northern pike, but my friends and I have done a lot of pike fishing, and I've probably caught 80 to 85%, maybe even 90% of all my personal biggest pike, and most of the ones I've seen my friends catch during those conditions of an incoming, especially those hurricanes, a spent one. Literally, I'd pay to go fishing on a day like that.
Well, I know for saltwater, before the hurricane and all that comes,
yeah,
it's
before
good.
that's
but after, it's a mess with the stirred up seas and the mud and
And you always have wind. See, the thing is, with the you'll have wind with an incoming low pressure, but when it goes through, it's like a big truck passing through a big system. Picture a truck going down the road and all the leaves and stuff that get sucked in behind it. Same thing happens in the weather. The high pressure comes in, and just there's wind, and there's, like, we look out the window, the leaves are blowing like 20-mile-an-hour wind out there.
Well, we are out of time. But Bob Sampson, Norwich Bulletin, thanks for joining us. It's Thursday, every other Thursday, and he was in last week, so it'll be the Thursday following this one. Check out Norwich Bulletin and norwichbulletin.com. All right, thanks to Rick Joseph on the other side of the glass, and we will see you next week. Fishing Today on WICH. Tight lines, everyone. Have a great week and a happy and safe 4th of July weekend.
Stu Breyer has your lunchtime oldies, along with Swap and Sell. Weekdays on WICH Norwich.